Stress ovis, very common in India. As I've said, we have a slaughterhouse in Mumbai, and when we visit, the skull is divided into two portions. And in that particular room, I have seen hundreds of larval stages of stress ovis, which are around 2 to 3 centimeters in length, migrating on the floor, hundreds of those larval stages. So that suggests that it is a very, very common infestation. And this is a fly called as a sheep nasal fly. This is a larviparous fly which deposit larvae on the nostrils. And these larvae then enter into the nasal passage and develop inside the nasal passage. Sometimes they enter the associated sinuses. Frontal sinus is commonly affected, and then they cause sinusitis. Occasionally, they may reach the brain and cause a nervous sign. So the nervous signs are exhibited, and that is why this condition is also known as false GID. As you all know, that GID is caused by Sinurus cerebralis, while this is a false GID, which is caused by Stress ovis larvae entering into the brain. So when these are flies, they are hovering around the host in order to deposit the larvae on the nostrils. So in that, the animals get scared. They try to run away from the flies, and this is known as entomophobia. And while doing so, they may fall down. They may meet with an accident. So these chances are there. There are reports in the literature also that the sheep, in order to prevent the deposition of the larvae on their nostrils, they come together, with their heads in the center. I think you all must have seen in front of any game, the football match, all the players, they come together and they make a circle. So a similar kind of approach is seen here, and keeping their heads very close to the soil so that these flies cannot deposit larval stages. So when the larvae are migrating in the nasal passage, they are responsible for causing rhinitis. There is a secondary bacterial infection. So mucopurulent discharge is there. Nervous signs may be seen occasionally. You can clinically distinguish between GID and false GID. In false GID, there will be nasal discharge. In GID, there won't be nasal discharge. So clinically, you can easily differentiate GID from false GID. And then as you can see here, this is the longitudinally cut skull, and where the larval stages can be seen in the sinuses. Now here, if you look at the life cycle, it is an annual life cycle. These mature flies, they survive hardly for 3 to 4 weeks. But the development inside the nostrils or even into the skull requires around 7 to 8 months. Then the pupal stages require around 1 to 2 months. So you will always find these flies in India. They are widely prevalent during summer months. And the occurrence is annual occurrence. So just before the occurrence of these flies, you can take certain measures. You can implement certain measures like intranasal drops of sprays can be applied. Then rifaxitinib is a very good drug. Rifaxitinib, as you all know, used for treatment of fasciolosis, and rifaxitinib is also good for the treatment of nasal bots. It is a wide spectrum endoectos parasiticide. Organophosphorus compounds can also be added in the feed.